Another process that is very much related to the Earth's transformation, and especially to human change within human beings and our culture, is the change from the patriarchal system, which means man-governed approach to life, towards feminine. Like the feminine that is now at the background comes forward, and the masculine aspect goes backwards to regenerate. It is something that goes on within the human being as well as in the way how we in the future will create the civilization, what I call the Gaia culture. The first step would be to recognize that we are at the same time men and women. The exercise goes that if you are a man, then as a man you face the manifested world in front of you, and as a woman you exist at your back, which means in your causal world, archetypal world of your being. And if you are a woman, of course, it is opposite. I developed such an exercise that you imagine if you are a woman, you stand in front of the world in front of you, and the man is at the back. You are leaning back to back, and then the man comes forward through your body, your feminine body comes forward so that you can look each other into the eyes. This is an example of an exercise how to balance the feminine and the masculine within our own body. The other aspect is a dynamic. There is a new dynamic between the feminine and masculine. The masculine in our civilization needs to retreat into the backspace, into the causal space for regeneration. It must step out of the guiding role of the civilization. And the feminine, now is the time that the feminine moves forward. But feminine it doesn't mean that the feminine would rule. Feminine principle is inclusive. It always tries to embrace all the existing aspects that are part of life reality. But because the feminine is inclusive, it includes also the masculine in a new way. I created a Gaia Touch exercise to experience it. It starts by the masculine aspect retreating. It is very the stiff. Masculine must connect to Earth, at first to the heart qualities, and move into the backspace, like this. Move into the backspace, and then the hands become light, and the feminine moves forward. But because the feminine is inclusive, so it goes back to connect to the masculine, and together we create. Another aspect of this change that I would like to present is about the chakra system, which means the energy centers of the body. What we learned from the yogic system is the vertical chakra system of the 7 chakras, but during the last decades with my daughter Ira, we discovered that the human body has also a feminine chakra system, which is not vertical, but it is rounded up, circular. It is circular, spheric or spherics. There are human being has chakra in four space spheres, one into the other. There are about 24 chakras related to the 4 elements, which means the masculine is rather creating a vertical connection between heaven and the earth, while the feminine is the creative, is creating the conditions for life and for culture to develop. There are, I will show you some of the feminine chakras, because I think this is important to come into human consciousness, that there is a perfect balance within the human being between the feminine and the masculine, between yin and yang. It starts with the heart. The heart belongs to the vertical system and to the circular, to the feminine. It is the point of connection. And then there are first the water chakras. The water chakras are below the clavicles and at the level of the plexus. Water. And then the fire chakras are at the earlobes and at the hips. At the hips, the bones. And then the earth, you see, these are spheres. The third sphere is of the earth element, and the chakras are below I forget the word, but you can see it. But also behind the knees. Behind the knees. And then there are the air chakras, which is the most outer sphere and connects to the so-called stigmata points, also on the feet, and one is above the head. So we need to, I think it is time in one way or the other to find this balance within ourselves, which also makes possible to Gaia that it finds again its balances. For instance, there is a very important balance between the 2 grand oceans, between the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, because these 2 masses of water, huge masses of water, they enable the balancing, yin-yang balancing of the planet. And the exercise that I developed for this balancing is to touch behind the crown chakra with one hand, and with the other hand behind the coccyx. So Atlantic and Pacific. And then the exercise goes like this. To support the balance between the feminine and masculine aspect of the planet.